starting the August update on lovely ragwort. It's been a funny year with ragwort. It's grown extremely tall, the ragwort, in some sections of the garden. But sadly we saw one cinnabar moth at the beginning of, I think it was June, but not a caterpillar on any of our ragwort this year at all. Nothing. It's been visited by insects, but there's a little insect on it now. I think it's too small, but they're popular with the insects, but sadly no caterpillars this year. My willow, I've been forgetting to water it. I must water that willow. It's losing its leaves. Look at that. I think that's bone dry. It's not too bad. We had rain last night, quite heavy rain. A few fungi coming up in the garden. If I can get you in there, let's see. You can see them at the back there. And a bit further back. So autumn's coming. These are not edible. I forget the name of them. They look like field mushrooms, but when you cut into them, they change to a yellow colour. So you know they're not a field mushroom, but people could be fooled into thinking they were. Don't think they're deadly poisons, but they give you quite a tummy ache. Knapweed is falling all over the place. There's leggy and lung as well. There's a lovely orange-tailed bumblebee feeding on the knapweed at the moment. So, is it a male or a female? Look, where are you? I think that's a male. The pond is quite low. I did get all of this. Oh, there's a speckled wood as well. We've been low on speckled woods this year. Can you see the speckled wood? Let's zoom in, see if you can. There's speckled wood. Normally we have an abundance of speckled woods in the garden, but our neighbour, because they lay their eggs on grass, our neighbour's garden was not next door, the one next door to that had lots of grass in it, and I think what they've done is covered everything up with black plastic because they're fed up of because they don't, it's an empty house, they just leave it empty so the grass gets out of control. And I think all the young I think they use that garden a lot to lay their eggs, and now I think we've seen about 5 speckled woods this year. But that's lovely to see because I haven't been seeing them, so that was a nice surprise. Back to the pond. The pond is, sorry about my shadow. The pond is quite low. I did remove most of the duckweed recently, but leave it a couple of weeks and it's back again. But frogs are loving it, and the little froglets have been everywhere. So yeah, it's doing okay. It doesn't attract other insects. That's the problem with my pond. I don't get dragonfly larvae in it. And I think because it's so low down, such a dip, it goes unnoticed. Probably looks. But anyway, maybe one day we will get dragonflies in there. Under the apple tree, everything's going well. This little very woody bit. We've got lots of lungwort for next year, as you can see, and the cyclamen are coming up, just starting to flower. 1 or 2 appearing. That at the back is raspberry growing. Might take that out. I don't know that I want a raspberry patch at the back. But this shrub's been cut back after its flower. Apple tree has got quite a few apples on. Didn't have much of a June drop this year. Normally we have a big June drop, but we didn't this year. So yeah, the apple tree's got enough on for an apple pie or 2. That's fine. The fruit bed now all finished. And I noticed just the other day the holly, which was covered in berries, has been stripped already of its berries. Oh, absolutely gone. No berries to be seen. And what berries are, they've turned black actually. Looking at these, I don't know what's caused that. They've shriveled up. Whether they've shriveled or the birds have eaten them, I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Blackberries are out now. We've had one crop of blackberries for our breakfast. The nettles are massive, beginning to flower. We go through the arch, look at what's happening up the top. A little bit of teasel there, another buddleia in flower here, and this one's started flowering a while ago and is just finishing flowering now. A giant knapweed up here, just finishing. I've been spreading these seeds everywhere. This is like a giant knapweed, I think. But I have been spreading the seeds. More blackberries. There is a big wood pile in here. You can't see it. It's from a tree that was taken down about 3 or 4 years ago. A big pine tree that came down. You can see some of it there. So the blackberries grow through it. My hawthorn is here at the moment because I'm still clearing the wood from next door. I've got Joe Pye plant and my oak tree, which is in a pot, doing well over the back. There's a big queen bee there. Honesty seedlings, look at those. Oh, lovely, aren't they? In this light. As you can see, I'm getting some lovely pieces of wood. These are going to be semi-buried, upright, semi-buried, so that we can have them rotting and providing, like this one. This wasn't semi-buried, this was a dead tree. That was a horse chestnut that came down in a storm, young chestnuts. But as you can see, it's been an absolute wonder for beetles and wood-boring insects. Some great insects on there this summer. A little pot there, doing okay. Lots of forget-me-not coming out of it. I've moved my, it's doing alright, I've moved my rhubarb up here where it's got more space. I've just got to prop back this pheasant bush, which is crowding it out a bit. I keep trying to prop it back, but it keeps falling back down. I will prop this back. Somehow. But yeah, so my it's doing really well. The leaves were really droopy the other day, but it's been raining and I've been watering it and they're doing fine, so that'll come back next year. There's a lemon balm coming up between it, but that'll be fine. Now let's look through to next door. So I brought a saw, so electric saw, battery saw, so I can start cutting these pieces up now because I can't do all those by hand. And you can see how everything's growing back in the neighbour's garden. Ash tree there, nettles, and there's just that little pile left at the top to sort out. Not much, I've done really well. Let's see where it all went. And here it is. Look at that. I love this. Obviously all the leaves will drop off soon, and by next year it'll be a wooden structure. The ivy's beginning to grow back through it, so it'll become a lovely ivy edge. It's great for the wrens. It's quite tall. It's taller than me in places. Got all these. I'm keeping these pieces. I'm not going to cut all of them. Some of them I'm keeping. Fox den is great, although my cat's using it more than the fox. I'm getting lots of fleas in the process, but there's the entrance. You can see there's the entrance. There. So I'm hoping foxes will find it attractive next year. And then it goes all the way up here. There we go, to my hawthorn, to my hazel. And then this is the look as you go down. This is a damson with no damsons on as usual. Never have any damsons on this damson, but it's shelter for birds, so that's not a problem. More wood there. Going to be lots of wood for beetles. More wood there. I'm leaving that along there. Nothing to bore into. And Paracantha there is doing really well. It hasn't flowered this year, but it's going well. I'm going to keep it to the same height as this. This is a young damson, and I just chop the top off regularly. I don't expect it to flower. I don't want it to get tall because it would cut out all the light, and we don't get that much light up here. So yeah, I'll just chop the top of it. I did it a few weeks back, and you can see all the new growth on the top from where I cut it back. I might cut it a bit lower actually, but anyway, the Paracantha I'm going to grow to the same height and just keep that trimmed too. Compost bins. Don't think my leaf litter will be very much this year now that the cherry's down. Normally I fill that up in autumn, but it's rotting down nicely. I've been putting some of the cherry tree bits in. It's a great place for the worms. They love it. When I lift it, it's full of worms. Right, this is the wilderness then today. A mournful cry of a little young robin, I think, in the background. Back through the arch. More blackberries there. Dogwood has got loads of hips on, absolutely covered. As you can see, it's a very it's a lovely dog rose, but it's not flowering as well as it used to. But what I'm finding is, because it's, if you can see, that's the top of the fence and it crowds above it, it rocks like crazy when it's windy. I'm just worried that one day my fence will be down with it. I'm going to have to get in it anyway because there's ivy growing through it, and I don't want this happening. I don't mind a bit because I've got a robin box there, but I do control the ivy, so I need to get up, and I can see we have got bindweed too, so I'll have to control that too. So it's easy to sort out. Lovely little dense patch there though. The sparrows dash along this border, then up and down it because there's so much in it. And these should be in flower soon. Those are asters, I think they're called, and provide some nectar towards the end of the year. I don't see the sun at the moment. Now a white butterfly just flew over, large white. There was one, I've got a last bit of broccoli at the bottom of the garden, and there was one laying eggs all over it yesterday, but there's not much broccoli there for it to eat. Everything's doing really well. Carrots have flopped down in the rain. Sorry, little bee. This little pond here, which I'm hoping will attract more in the way of dragonfly. We've got more cosmos, more blackberry, more lavender, manzia, borage, what's left of it, catmint. That was from Joel's Wild Your Garden shop. It's looking quite happy there in a pot because my ground, I've got so many trees planting into my garden is impossible. It's hard work because there's so many roots, having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large trees. The roots they're everywhere. You try and dig and you hit a root. So But the cherry tree is lovely, so I wouldn't be without the trees. Acer there, that's Acer. Another box over there, and I've moved my sparrow box because the sparrows come along here. I've moved the sparrow box to there. It was in the cherry tree, but not used very much, so hoping it'd be a bit more popular there. We'll see. Right, going down the garden. The bats were out last night. We had 3 bats flying around last night. I'm just checking the bat box, but no, there's nothing in that one, which is good because when the tree guy came, tree surgeon came, he was saying about this, sadly about this silver birch, because there's a big hole here, and he's worried about the water getting in and it rotting. And because the cherry tree, all the weight's on one side because of the cherry tree affecting the growth on this side, so it may be one that has to come down, but I'm holding out at the moment. Very old. It has this really gnarled effect at the bottom, and I don't know why. It's almost like it's to buttress it. I don't know. See how gnarled it is there. And there's the speckled wood again. Oh, I'm loving that there's a speckled wood in the garden. Okay, to focus. Yeah, lovely. Loving the sun at the moment, isn't it? Right. This is a little raised bed here. I'm in the process of sorting that out. So, look at that. That's the potatoes pots. Leave it a minute and Herb Robert already beginning to grow in it. Right, continue down the garden. Oh, sorry. That's a robin I disturbed then. Put it dead in the what's caused that? Let's cut you out. Yep, the snowberry bush doing fine. Snowberries are growing. There you go. There's one. Still 1 or 2 flowers on it and still producing flowers, so still popular with the insects. The Echinacea doing what it does. Blue, purple, blue flowers with a bee on it. There we go. It's a white-tailed bumblebee. Enjoying the Echinacea. Actually, it's doing better this year because the cherry tree being cut back is getting far more sun than it was getting. So yeah, looks great there. Next to the lovely goldenrod. As lovely as that. And we've got Cosmea. Not keen on Cosmea, it was here when we came. But insects visit it, so it needs thinning out. And the problem with Cosmea, if you don't pull it out, the corns get bigger and older and then they flower less and less, so you need to get on top of that really. Over on this side we've got geraniums and phlox, oregano taking over. Not much flowering on that side. Oh, there's a lovely big mallow there. That's flowering. You can hear the goldfinches. They're telling me that the feeder's empty, which it is, so I'll top that up after I finish filming. More honesty seedlings with next to the lovely teasel. Teasel seedlings. Maybe the goldfinches will have a few of those while they're waiting for me. But you can hear them. And all in the rowan tree with all its berries now. The blackbirds have been feasting on these already. Big bee there, and a large queen bee. Lovely white honeysuckle, buddleia here. in full flower. Next to the rose that's finished now, and the jasmine. This is a mixture of rose, jasmine, and clematis. Seed heads are coming on the clematis, however you say it. Jasmine didn't seem to flower much this year. There's lots of growth on the jasmine. This is the jasmine, but not much in the way of flower. The rose is just finished. I need to come in and tidy that up. The astrantia, all in seed. I've been spreading this everywhere. You get so many seeds in these. It's incredible. So yeah, look at that. All those seeds and the odd insect. I just throw them down and hope that they'll spread. I haven't cut the grass straw. No mow May. I haven't cut it since before May. It just hasn't grown this year. That's the longer edge there. I did a night video recently, and that was absolutely full of insects at night. It was incredible. I'm amazed how many insects are in here. This bit's beginning to have other things growing up in it. As you can see, there was some, I think in the centre there, yeah, some daisy and forget-me-nots, so that should look nice next year. See what comes out of it. I'm going to be cutting that back probably middle of September, and I may leave this longer edge till all winter. See how that goes. And there we go, that's the look of the garden at the moment in the sun. Sorry about the drilling there. We have a large block of flats by us, and they're being renovated at the moment. They're going to look very nice for the people who live there. Much in need, 60s high rise in need of updating. We've got a lovely Japanese anemone here in flower, loved by the bees. In the main border, the rose needs a good cut back there, deadheading. Cosmos, I had cut back the geraniums and they've re-leafed but no flowers. I was hoping a second flush of flowers, but nothing at the moment. That geranium at the back does well regardless. The bulb's more just constantly in flower, never stops flowering. This is finished now, and I should be getting the seeds off this. This has been so tall, it's drooped over now, but I mean the flower has been stunning on this, absolutely stunning. It's been really loved by the bees. Foxgloves have gone to seed. Loads of oregano in flower. Fennel's now in flower. We've got in the background a little bit you can see of verbena and the Joe Pye plant. I need to thin this out, it's an enormous plant. Then we come down to the big lavender. Not many bees out yet, still early. Another big verbena there, look at that against the blue sky, gorgeous. Pots on the roof because it's got a seedling in there and it was struggling, so I've put it up there and it seems to have done the trick, beginning to produce a lot of leaves. A lovely dense corner there for the sparrows. You can hear them, they're waiting for their breakfast. You'll hear them as I come down. Goldenrod everywhere. Beautiful plant. Fuchsia still flowering and providing nectar. Little ragged. I didn't know what this was that was growing. It's turned out to be a ragged robin, so I'm chuffed with that. I made some seed and pots. There's the sparrows waiting for their breakfast. This is my whistle. I'll do my little whistle when I go in the garden so that they know who I am. This is my whistle. and they're so used to it that my uncle used to do the same whistle. There you go, you can see them all come. And so they're not so worried by me being in the garden. Down towards the house. Let's look round the corner. This is the broccoli I was telling you was that the large white was laying eggs on yesterday. To look today, see if I can spot any of them. But as you can see, it's well all gnarled. Can't see as it will provide much food really. It's been here I planted it last winter, so the carrots have been doing really well in these mop buckets. We've had a feast of carrots. I need to pull some more. The brew salvias have been providing lots of nectar. These are chilies, look, chilies growing here. These they're everywhere, the chilies on it. They'll be quite hot chilies, I think, but I just dry them and make a powder with them. So lots, oh, there's a nice big one. Lots of chilies. And the Tiana that's sprung up from somewhere. These are, I planted from seed. These are, oh gosh, pretty flower. Forget the name. But anyway, love by slugs, so I'll keep them in a saucer of water. Keeps the slugs at bay. More verbena. My tree. These lovely Marguerite going over. Aren't they lovely, those seed heads? Proper ball. Look at the light come through that. Oh my goodness, look at those. Nice seeds ready to pop. Everlasting sweet pea has been growing well. The flowers tend to be on the other side. Even a wasp visiting the bird feeder. I'll be back in a minute, sparrows. And down towards the house. More Joe Pye plant. If you keep it in a pot though, look, it's much better. Smaller. I'm going to put some in a pot this year. Mints all in flower. And sadly my tomatoes have got blight. Yeah, the tomatoes got blight, so I must be getting rid of all my tomatoes. This is marjoram, no, thyme, beginning to flower. Rosemary cutting that I took from a shop, you know, the shop rosemary. Oh, that plant I kept saying I didn't know what it was, turned out to be Joe Pye. Why I didn't recognise that I do not know. And down to the pots we've got white cosmos in flower with verbena borealis and the honeysuckle last flower as it finishes for the year. It's all cutting back now. So I should be taking the tomatoes out and making a raised flower bed instead. I've got a few plants. I've got some borealis, verbena, and is it Gora? I think this is called the butterfly plant. I'm going to take it out of the pot actually. It's standing in water and I don't think it's that happy. There you go. Yeah, there it is. Okay. White butterfly. I have seen it in insects in it, but it's losing its flowers. I think it may be because it's been standing in water. Some borage here, is it? Borage? No, but no, that's got there. Yeah, so sad about my tomatoes. Some lovely crops, didn't I? But as you can see, they're all affected. Everyone. Even that one looks trying to change colour now. I just love those, but they're really bad. You've got to go in the communal collection bin. I don't know if you can see it, but that's another sign of autumn coming. don't think you can see it. I don't want to put my hand behind, but there's a lovely cobweb there, old web cobweb, a garden spider. That's not very good. My little water fountain. And that's it, I think. So that's the August garden. That's the view from here. It's a bit bright. There we go. So I'll leave you with the beautiful last flowering honeysuckle for 2020. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed watching the catch up. Bye for now.